In a hospital room on the fifth floor of Women and Infants Hospital in downtown Providence, Gail Connolly shows a couple of new employees how to lift a patient onto her side without hurting her or getting hurt themselves.
So does this have to be this?
First, they practiced on a mannequin, a standard issue male, about 160 pounds. Now, that mannequin is lying on the floor next to the hospital bed, and the assignment is to try what they've learned on a real person, one who's not so standard issue. Lying in the hospital bed is Connolly's training partner, Robin, who's wearing a padded foam and rubber suit that makes her look morbidly obese. Connolly reminds her trainees that this is actually much closer to what they'll experience on the job than working with a mannequin.
But now you get a personality into the mix. You get somebody asking you questions, who's scared, who's bigger. So even though you knew how to use that lift equipment, all of a sudden, it gets a little bit complicated. So
Complicated in part because the standard techniques and equipment, things like slings and slides and lifts, don't always work on obese patients. It's one thing, Connolly says, to strap a mannequin to an evacuation sled and slide him downstairs to safety. It's another to negotiate the same with a 400-pound patient. That's why she started scouring the web for something that could simulate that size for her trainees.
But there really wasn't anything out there. So I had searched locally to see if I could find an artist who could help to design something with me and for us here at the hospital.
Connolly found her perfect partner in a local puppet maker, Big Nazo Lab in Providence. For more than 20 years, Big Nazo has been creating fantastically strange foam and rubber puppets and masks for performances and parades and all kinds of theater. Inside the workshop, green and gold creatures crowd the walls. Gray masks hang from ceiling beams. It's as if someone has hit pause on an alien invasion. On this day, Big Nazo's founder, Herminio Pinkway, and his team are coaxing to life a few new models of the fat suit he created for Gail Connolly over at Women and Infants Hospital. Dominican artist Victor Justo cradles a chubby torso in his lap.
It's almost the last step. I am sticking with the nylon. Put in the nylon, then I put the latex.
Justo hikes a piece of pantyhose up over a foam arm. Pinkway mixes up some flesh-colored acrylic paint for another suit's final touches.
Even though this is not being used for film or theater, it's still something that we just like people to kind of have a double take if they saw it and go, wow, that looks like a real person's skin.
When Mike McCauley discovered the suits, he wasted no time putting in a large order for his medical equipment company. McCauley is president of McCauley Medical.
We specialize in reducing back injury for nursing staff.
He thinks there's a market for these training suits for several reasons. One is that they're perfect for training hospital staff on how to use his equipment on bigger patients. And every year there are more of those as the nation struggles with epidemic obesity rates. Plus, he says these suits are much more realistic than the limited options on the market now. Things like a blow-up sumo wrestler suit.
But it also does something else. When the staff member puts that suit on, they suddenly can empathize with what it feels like to be that patient of size. Just moving around, trying to sit up, trying to pick something up off from the floor, trying to sit down in a wheelchair.
McCauley says he can see selling several hundred of the suits a year. And back at puppet maker Big Nazo Lab, artist Herminio Pinkway says that might be doable. In fact, the more people who get to work with the suits, the better. He says that part of art's function is to make the world a more sensitive place, and the suits may help with that.
That's why we build this stuff. It's for what it takes to make the world look different and to evoke a reaction and a different conversation about normalness, quote unquote. So if this extends that, that's part of our mission, then it's worth doing.
Not to mention worth doing to keep patients and hospital staff a little safer. Kristen Gourlay, Rhode Island Public Radio.